In an industry dominated by AAA games, it is always nice to see smaller titles got their time in the spotlight, while indie games may not have the same budget or developer size as their AAA pattern. They usually make up for it by creating unique gameplay experience. Many indie developers are often not afraid to take risks in order to bring their vision to life, which often results in games with innovative gameplay and storytelling that help them stand out in the competitive gaming landscapes. Every once in a while, one of those indie titles will shine above the rest and emerge as one of the must-play games of the year in 2018. That game was called a 2D pixelated platformer created by indie developer Mad Makes Games, which has since rebranded into the studio Extremely OK Games. The game actually started as a small project for the Pico 8 virtual console that was made during a game jam by developers Mady Thorson and Noah Bori. Made in only 4 days. The original Celeste was a 30-level adventure that saw you climb up a mountain using simple jumping and wall climbing as well as a basic dashing abilities. Some levels also include collectible strawberries that were placed to provide a challenge for players. It was a nice little game that paid homage to previous 2D platformers. The developers eventually decided to turn Celeste into a proper game and set about expanding on what they had already built. It took the core mechanics they had established in the original Celeste and designed brand new levels built around those mechanics. The result was an excellent 2D platformer that became one of the highlights of 2018. When it first released, Celeste was praised for both its gameplay and its storytelling. Its platforming mechanics felt fantastic to execute, and its levels very beautifully designed. The story, while short, told a very personal narrative that dealt with mental health and overcoming adversity. It is stories that resonated with a lot of people, and it was quickly recognized as a must-play game. Celeste would go on to win Indie Game of the Year of 2018 and was even nominated for Game of the Year. As well, to date, it has sold over 1 million copies, which is fantastic for an indie title. The game has certainly exceeded its developers' expectation and has earned its place in history as one of the better indie titles. Despite all this, however, there are still a lot of people who have not played Celeste yet, whatever it is, because they are still on the fence about it or because they have simply never heard of it before. To fix that, I decided to receive Celeste to help spread the word about it and get more people to play it. This video was aimed at informing you about what you can expect out of Celeste and why this is a game you should consider playing. Celeste is one of those games that is easy to learn but difficult to master. Your entire moveset consists of the simple actions that are taught to you. It's the opening minutes of the game: jump, climb and dash every challenge. In the game consists of some combination of these abilities. Jumping is pretty self-explanatory, but climbing has a hidden stamina where you need to be aware of when you are about to run out of stamina. Your character midline will begin flashing red once you have landed in a safe area. Your stamina will reset and you can begin climbing again. One thing you can do while climbing to work around this limitation is jump from wall to wall. This does not consume any stamina, so it is a good way to get to high places while preserving your stamina. While jumping is also required to beat Q10 levels, so it is something you will need to learn to do at some point. As for the dashing ability, you can use it in any cardinal direction as well as diagonally when you use the move Madlines. Here it turns blue signifying that you cannot use the ability anymore. It only has one charge that resets when you land in a safe area. similar to how your stamina works the only way around. This is to get one of these green diamonds, which resets both your stamina and your dashing ability. Many levels are designed around those diamonds, so you usually need to incorporate them into your strategy for those particular levels. The game does a great job of teaching you all this early on by introducing basic challenge that show you how everything works by the end of the first chapter. You will have a pretty good idea about how the game controls, and you will be well equipped to the rest of the game. Now, while the controls may be simple, the levels are anything but. Celeste consists of hundreds of levels spread out ever. 7 different chapters, each chapter is designed around a different theme and consists of its own mechanics and challenges that help make each one feel unique. One chapter has you make your way through and a bounded hotel that is infested with this black and red substance, while another ones has you jumping in clouds and fighting through. While the gimmicks will be different in each one, but they all center on the 3 basic moves I described earlier. Celeste does a great job of giving each chapter its own identity, which keeps the levels from growing stale. Everything also gets progressively harder, which means you will constantly be challenged and kept engaged. In fact, Celeste is a pretty difficult game overall. Every level is filled with a variety of hazards. You will need to avoid the scan range from spikes to crystals to simply falling to your death. There are many different ways to die, and you will die a lot, but rather than have death by a negative thing, Celeste managed to make death a good learning experience. When you die in a level, you are immediately brought back to the start of that particular level. No long loading screens, no long animation, you simply explode into several cycles, then respawn at the point you first enter the level. This allows you to get right back into the gameplay while your actions are still fresh in your mind. Many of the challenges in this game involve proper timing and execution of your abilities, and sometimes it takes several tries for you to get a feel for what it is you need to do. By quickly getting you back into the action cells helps you practice and experiment with basically no penalties. The game actually has a death counter for every level to help you kind of measure your progress. Every time you exit a chapter, your deaths and selectables are tallied and recorded. Once you have beaten a chapter, you can go back and replay it to try and do it faster and with fewer deaths. That is a record book that keeps track of your fastest times and fewest deaths, which basically serves to show you how much you have improved. It gives you a reason to go back and play through levels again. In addition to the selectables I will discuss later, it is extremely satisfying completing a level that is being given you a thought time. Oftentimes you will know what you need to do, but you will have trouble execute it. I regularly had sweaty palms trying to get through particularly through section, and it is exciting when you finally manage to success. While Celeste may be difficult at times, it is the good kind of difficulty. 100 levels to the game that were meant to serve as a conclusion to the game's story. I found these levels to be very enjoyable and very challenging. It comes with its own theme like all the other chapters, and it makes use of mechanics from several different chapters. These levels really test your mastery of Celeste platforming mechanics, and they serve as a great way to end an exceptional game. The last thing I will mention is the soundtrack, which is absolutely incredible. Each chapter has a distinctive soundtrack that really fits the chapters, and each B-side also has a remix of each chapter's music, and some of the best music in the game can be found in them. I picked some of my favorite tracks as background music for this video, but there are plenty of great tracks to listen to while I climb the mountain. That is all you need to know about Celeste. This is a fantastic game that I highly recommend you to try. Its gameplay is very enjoyable and challenging without being too frustrating. The story ties everything together very nicely, and there is also a ton of content and collectibles to keep you busy and say best part. That is a great game with a lot of stuff to do for a very responsible price, so consider giving Celeste a shot. I promise you won't to be disappointed. Thanks for watching, goodbye.